Well, reverse colorism then. Because they used to be like, you ain't even black for real. You're white. Go over there with the white girls.
It's reverse colorism. There's no reverse anything. There's never a reverse of systems. You're sitting off the backs of the privilege of colorism, babes. You wasn't bullied, and I'm never gonna listen. If you guys start talking about getting bullied when we have conversations of colorism, I'm literally just gonna laugh. I'm gonna step into my villain era, and I'm just gonna laugh.
Sometimes it don't make no sense. Does it really have to? There is nothing I can say.
Hi, welcome to Mayowa's world. Hi y'all, welcome to Mayowa's world. I am 100 subscribers away from 50,000 subscribers, which is big. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. My name is Mayowa. On my platform, I talk about anti-blackness, colorism, texturism, things that just pretty much affect things that pretty much just come from my own reality. Y'all, I'm trying out different lighting. Like, I'm using natural light and I have a ring light. If you guys like this lighting, let me know, because I don't know, I feel kind of proud of myself. I'm like, oh my God, like getting into the technicalities. I'm trying to like bring up the production value. Okay, so today's topic is going to be about colorism. There's a clip going around right now, a viral clip. And something that I kind of want to do is like, you know, when people do like football commentary and then like they circle it and they highlight it and they explain and then they talk and have discourse. I kind of want to do that with like colorism and how it happens in real time, because even though some of these conversations might be kind of redundant, or sometimes, you know, we've heard it and we've heard these dialogues before, I just want to give my own 2 cents and talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and my thoughts on this clip with monaleo. So if you guys don't know who monaleo is, you need to really add her to your music Rolodex. She's just this like really cute brown skin black girl. I think she's from, I don't know, Texas. I don't know. But she, if you guys are looking for songs to listen to by her, listen to the song We Not Humpin'. Oh my God. No, listen to the song We Not Humpin'. Watch the music video with Flo Milli. Yeah, it's giving magic. I really love that music video. So yeah, if you are beating down the block, like she's a really cool artist. So there's a clip going around from this podcast called The Female Rap Group. I think that's what it's called. And she's talking with a light-skinned girl called Megan and some boy. I don't know the boy's name. Listen, he's not really important for this dialogue. But yeah, so I'm gonna play the clip and then I'm going to give my thoughts about what's going on.
A very important question, because I'll be battling people with this question all the time.
Okay.
Do you believe in colorism, and do you feel like it's easier as a female rapper to like make it big when you're like of a lighter complexion?
Believe in colorism. Colorism is very real. It's a very real thing, for sure. And it definitely is easier for, not to take away from anybody who is a light-skinned rapper, but it's definitely easier for a woman with a lighter complexion to blow up quicker than a dark-skinned woman, for sure.
But like, why do you feel like that? Because like, I be getting into it with people, right? I used to get made fun of at school because I wasn't black enough. Bitches used to try to cut my hair. Like, people be thinking that like light-skinned girls don't go through colorism. We go through colorism just, I don't know if it's like as bad as like brown-skinned girls.
It's not colorism. It's not colorism. If you're light skinned, it's not colorism.
So what is it called?
If people was picking with you, then that's like, but it's not colorism. Like, colorism is discrimination against darker skinned, like darker complected people.
So you're basically talking about reverse.
Well, reverse colorism then, because they used to be like, you ain't even black for real. You're white. Go over there with the white girls. And I'm just like, bitch.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I am black, actually.
I feel like for her to be like, do you believe in colorism? Baby girl, it's not Santa. It's not Santa Claus. But a stereotype, and especially a colorist stereotype, is that dark-skinned people, especially dark-skinned women, are bullies. So everyone uses the same rhetoric, and I don't really know where it comes from, and I don't really know why it always happens the way that it does, but it's always this thing where like they believe dark-skinned people are so jealous and so bitter and want to be them so bad. And it's funny because like Whenever light-skinned people talked about colorism and wanted to center themselves in colorism, they would always fixate on things that happened to them when they were in elementary school. And I think that's really interesting because I feel like if you want me to, I don't believe, one thing I learned from that conversation until now, I'm not gonna cut open my wounds for you to believe I'm bleeding or I have bled. I'm not gonna cut myself open for you to believe that I have blood in my body. I'm not gonna talk about my experiences with colorism unwarranted to prove that it's real for you because I'm not a fucking monkey. And a lot of times people use these opportunities to center what they really feel. I feel like a lot of times the reason I don't believe in cutting my skin to let you know I bleed, AKA explaining to you why colorism is real in real time. Like I'm not going back and forth with you people on this. And the reason I'm not going back and forth, like I've learned that, and I think maybe it's come from like making YouTube videos and stuff, but I just learned like I'm not arguing some things that are my reality. I'm not going to argue because I know it, because I'm not talking about a theory. I'm talking about a lived experience. So I'm not going to prove to you why I'm valid or why my point is valid. Like, and a lot of times light-skinned people ask for conversations on colorism because they want to they want to talk about themselves. It's like they want to talk about what happened to them. They're always like, it's not my fault I got bullied for being hot, beautiful, having a 3C hair and everybody wanting me. That's not my fault. And it's like, oh my God, babe, I literally asked you what time it was. Why are we having this discussion about you getting bullied by the darky girls? It's too early. Like, and growing up, like I talked about this in this last video, but I've been kind of like building from this thought. But I feel like a lot of dark-skinned people are kind of weary and scared of talking, like kind of scared of standing up to light-skinned people and scared of standing up to biracial people because we know at the end of the day, we don't really have leverage and power. Like if I was to say to a light-skinned person, like something really harmful, particularly around their color, I believe that most people would side with a light-skinned person because of systemic power, right? That person would always be considered more desirable than a dark-skinned person. So I think because of this dynamic of us having to tiptoe, we always have energy and time to explain to light-skinned people why colorism is real, even though they aren't really asking to learn, they're asking to talk about themselves. And I've really pulled myself away because I'm like, I'm not gonna do more labor for you because what's the difference between doing this for you and explaining to a man why misogyny is real, or explaining to a white person why racism is real, or explaining to a hetero person why homophobia is real? Like if y'all don't get it, I don't know, you're gonna get left in the dust. And I really wanna big up Monaleo because I feel like she explained it so like clear.
We, like black, especially little black girls in general, we've been indoctrinated to think that darker skin, especially like just the way that I grew up, I'm like darker skinned people experience a completely different experience than people who are light skinned, and that is just like the bottom line. And that is where the issue of colorism comes in for sure.
And it didn't matter what she said because the girl wasn't looking to listen. She was looking for holes in the conversation to really try and prove her that her experiences are valid.
Why do you feel that it's easier for a lighter skin like a Lotto to blow up versus a Cash Doll?
Just a different time.
Though? Of course. I feel like it's only with the women though. Because I feel like
it's specifically with women, for
right,
sure. That's why I said it's different. Because the
darker skinned guy, I feel like it's harder to be a light skinned rapper.
And it's like if we end up having to be a therapist for you while you're working through your light skin privilege, I really don't know what that gives us. I personally feel like people like this and just this whole conversation, like I believe this light-skinned person knew this was gonna go viral, and they know that it's a trigger and they know it's a topical thing to mention, so they intentionally kind of like push buttons to get a rile out, and at the end of the day they get coddled because that light-skinned man was like, yeah, it's reverse colors. There's
discrimination against darker skin complected, like darker complected people.
You're basically talking about reverse
colorism then, because they used to be like, you ain't even black for real. You're white. Go over there with the white girls.
No reverse anything. There's never a reverse of systems. Is there a reverse misogyny? No. Is there a reverse racism? No. And I really need, like, I'm not invested in trying to explain to people why it's real. Another thing I thought was interesting with Monaleo's talking points is a lot of times when people talk about colorism, conversations get shifted to talk about slavery. And I always just want to like add my own point of view that people think that colorism started when you bring Africans to the Americas and the division that happens. And I really just want to emphasize that that's not how colorism started, because colorism starts with colonialism. Because slavery started with colonialism, like colonialism in the act of going to a place and plundering the economy, stealing the people, stealing everything, stealing the resources. That's how colorism begins, right? Because the act of white people going to a predominantly dark-skinned place and seeing dark-skinned people as lower than, right? Because when white people came to Africa, they were seeing blacks, dark-skinned people as lower than. Dark-skinned people with kinky hair, they were seeing them as lower than. That is the foundation of colonialism, that believing that because of how they look and because of how far it is from whiteness, that is considered lower than, right? Because if when they're coming, people are predominantly dark, then that is what it is. And then through our word, sexual abuse, sexual assault, there's now people who are being mixed race. Those mixed race people are still going to always have leverage and power on the continent and in the diaspora. And I always just want to add that, because I feel like people think it's an American thing. I've heard people say, oh, colorism is only going on in America. It's not. I've lived in Germany. I've lived in Germany. I've lived in Nigeria. I've lived in Atlanta. Like, it's everywhere. And yeah, so it doesn't start with slavery, because it's a global issue where black, like, it's a mixture of anti-blackness and believing that dark-skinned people are like worthless. And I realized that light-skinned people fixate on what happened to them in middle school because that's what they think we're experiencing, versus it being something that we're experiencing every day in the workforce, every single day with who we date, prison. You know, if you look at statistics of prison sentencing and darker skinned people being the ones.
I'm not gonna lie, it's easier for a light-skinned woman to blow up as a rapper, to navigate through the music industry. And I definitely have seen women like I've seen dark-skinned women have, because I'm like right in the middle. Honestly speaking, I'm like in the middle. I'm not obviously like I wouldn't even consider myself, like, to say that I'm like a dark-skinned rapper would be doing a disservice to the women who are darker than me, who are rappers, right, and that are really fucking talented.
Colorism isn't just saying specific things. Like, colorism isn't just saying like dark-skinned girls are ugly. Colorism is like how you take up space, how you interact with dark-skinned people, and how you view dark-skinned people, and what you say and who you. And I also just wanted to point out too that monaleo is like a brown-skinned person just having a conversation with a light-skinned person about what colorism is, and she's doing it in the most zen. You know, look at her legs crossing. It looks like she's about to levitate off the floor. She's doing it in the most zen, calm way. And imagine if a dark-skinned person was to say the same things as monaleo. You know, she would get ripped and like she would. Oh, you're being so aggressive. You're being so violent. Like, I thought it was really interesting that it really just showed a lot of dynamics that happen and why, like, some people are listened to and why some people aren't. And for brown-skinned people that do want to, like, I feel like that was really good to see also how brown-skinned people can, like, step up for dark-skinned people, because I just like that she was able to say that. I give her an A. I think she did really, really well. And I think she was under a lot of pressure to have to explain herself in real time. Like, I just don't wish that upon anybody. Like, if you are more worried about anti-racism, what that lets me know is that if you had the position to be white, a lot of times y'all would end up wanting to be racist too, because you see the power and the privilege it has to just act like you don't know. To talk about colorism like you're talking about Santa Claus, or you're talking about some kind of a unicorn, or talking about some kind of mythical creature that you haven't seen yet. You're sitting off the backs of the privilege of colorism, babes. You wasn't bullied, and I'm never gonna listen. If you guys start talking about getting bullied when we have conversations of colorism, I'm literally just gonna laugh. I'm gonna step into my villain era, and I'm just gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh, and I'm gonna chuckle. I'm gonna hold my belly, and I'm gonna let out one great laugh in your face, and I'm not having the conversation, because leave that in the past. We are not in the playground anymore, and I don't even really believe y'all with y'all. How do y'all all have the same stories? I've heard a million light-skinned girls talk about how people was talking about them because they light, or cutting their hair. But I've never met one dark-skinned girl who's ever told me they've cut someone's hair. Where is it coming from? And I know where it's coming from. It's coming from the tragic mulatto trope. It's coming from this, like, the Netflix documentaries of, like, I'm too white for the black kids, I'm too black for the white kid. Like, it's coming from this, like, media obsession with telling light-skinned stories and fixating on light-skinned people's experiences and wanting to have blackness be a biracial story, which is like white people don't like me and black people don't like me. And when biracial people do that, it's no different than when light-skinned people do that. It's no different than when, you know what I mean? Like white people do, it's like, we're just trickling it down. We're just trickling it down, and I'm tired. I am not doing this anymore. I'm not having these conversations anymore. I'm not. Yeah, you could get somebody else to do it. Yeah. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you made it to the end, let me know. Because my outfit, let me know what you guys like. I always like doing this. My makeup today was inspired by Wendy's World. I don't know if y'all follow her. She's a dark skin. I think her pronouns are she, her. They're a dark skin makeup artist. I really like their work. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.